Hello, welcome to America's Small Business Development Center at the College of New Jersey's marketing webinar titled, Is Your Website Committing Electronic Violations? My name is Shakira Brown, and I'm an award-winning PR and marketing expert. I am also the founder of SMB Strategic Media in Hamilton, New Jersey, which provides affordable public relations, marketing, branding, website content development, as well as social media management for small businesses. I have over 20 years of mass communications experience and 16 years of experience providing PR strategies for personalities, inventors, professional groups, entrepreneurial middle market firms. I've pretty much touched upon everything in my career. I also have a background in television production where I work for some networks out in New York. So today, we are being offered this wonderful presentation through the Small Business Development Center at the College of New Jersey. So I want to tell you a little bit more about them. Through a combination of peer-to-peer business counseling and training services, we offer no-cost business counseling to you, supported by the U.S. SBA, the state of New Jersey, and the county of Mercer. If you haven't taken advantage of these wonderful no-cost solutions, you definitely should, especially if you're a Mercer County, New Jersey business. I invite you all to visit SBDCNJ.com for more information on how to get free counseling. You can also go on ahead and request counseling by filling out our request for counseling form on the website. So what you're going to see here is an example of who we work with. We work with the Rutgers University, of course, our host college, the College of New Jersey, the state, obviously, two really great chambers in Mercer County, the Mid-Jersey Chamber and the Princeton Chamber. We also work with banks and other industry groups. So let's get started with today's agenda. We're going to have an overview of what makes a good website. Number two, an example of a live search result for one of the keywords that I've chosen for my business. And we're also going to do some website reviews live. I would like for you to participate if you're listening to this live by choosing to chat with us or ask us questions. Let's start with the basics, the qualities of a well-performing website. Content is king. I can't stress this anymore. This picture is of a crystal ball. And what I need you to do is to get your crystal balls out and think about, what are your customers looking for? What do they need? What are they calling what they're looking for? This is very important. One of the things you have to consider is that you need to understand what point of the sales cycle your customer's in, or the buying cycle that they're in. You need to understand what they call the things that you sell. No matter what, if you decide that while everybody else is selling apples, that you're going to sell red orbs, you're going to be left behind and left in the dust with search when it comes to search. People find you on the internet. So be sure to always use language that your customers are using and understand what they're looking for and what they need at all points in the sales cycle or their buying cycle. When you're writing content for organic search, which let me take a step back and explain what that is. Organic search is what you find underneath the ads on Google. Okay, so when you do a Google search, say for landscaping services in Princeton, New Jersey, and you see that there are three yellow sort of positioned at the top, yellow ads. It says ads next to it that say, that you can click on those. Those are purchased probably for a nice click-through rate for you to get there first. But if you choose not to use those and you want to be one of those, if you want your business to show up in organic search, which is in the blue, and we're talking Google here, beneath that, you need to, optimize your site for organic search. So you can use tools like the Google Keyword Planner to determine what searches are happening most within your industry or niche. I think that's an important tool. Everybody should consider using that. You need to talk to your customers. What I mean by that is when they call you and say, "Oh, thank you for answering my call. I found your website in Google." You talk to them, you find out what they need. You say, "Okay, well, thank you so much. Would you mind telling me what did you plug into Google to find me?" And if they say, "Oh, well, all I did was I plugged in landscaping services, Princeton, New Jersey," and you came up right away, then you know you're doing something right. But if they say, oh my goodness, you don't even want to know, I plugged in this, I couldn't find anything there, I plugged in this, and after I went 3 pages in, I found your website. That's a great way for you to find out exactly what your customers are doing to find you. And then once you get that data, that information, you can take it to your website and fix it so that you start showing up for the things that they're looking for. Okay, you want to research your competitors, learn their search terms. So if you search, we're going to use the landscaping again, landscaping services, Princeton, New Jersey. If you put that in, and the top 3 people are your competitors, look at their website, see what terms they're using on their pages. How can you differentiate your terms so that you show up for the people who are not searching that? Because maybe people are searching, grass cutters in Princeton, New Jersey. I don't know. I'm making that up, but you really got to think outside the box when it comes to search and decide on what you're going to show up for. Quick story is that I decided years ago when I made my site over 10 years ago that when I did the research for the site, I determined that if I optimized for public relations, I would show up on page like 50. So I said, okay, I have to go a little bit deeper. This is over 10 years ago. Search SEO was at the it was in its infancy. But I knew I had to do something. I had a good mentor that helped me to understand what was needed to actually be successful in search. So what I did was I took the time and I started putting together words, phrases. So one of the ones that I put together is best PR expert in J. I say, if you don't believe you're the best, nobody else will. So I call myself the best PR expert in J. Wouldn't you know it? No one was optimizing for that. So I decided to do that. Then I decided to do 4 other ways. And I will tell you, 10 years, 11 years later, through all of Google's changes in their algorithms of how they return search results, my site has stayed number 1 for those terms because I've optimized my site on the back end and the metadata. When you create page titles and metadata descriptions that's behind the page, and then on the page, on the actual page that people see, you will see that those words are actually on there. So that's the secret to my success there. So 4th, you want to get local. So back to my whole story is that I knew that I couldn't just show up in PR or public relations because I'd be competing with the world. So I decided to optimize around NJ in New Jersey. And that is another way that my site shows up at the very top of the organic search result. Okay. So we're going to move on. Above all else, sound like a real person. Here's a picture of a woman who looks baffled by this robot. You don't want to have that happen to your visitors of your site. You want to use very understandable language. Avoid jargon and marketing speak. Use familiar terms for your product, ones that people are already using. Don't be the red orbs people. Be the apples people, because that's what your customers are searching. Unless you want to spend millions of dollars, right, to optimize your site for the term red orbs, and then educate everybody that red orbs are actually apples, just stick with the basics. And then, of course, use a friendly and conversational tone. Follow these tips to make it easier for visitors to read and understand your content, as well as navigate your website. So we've been talking about search engine optimization. It is something that I know that plagues many businesses. So I decided to just give you a simple term defined. SEO is the process of maximizing the number of visitors to a particular website by ensuring the site appears high on the list of results returned by a search engine. Sounds complicated, but it really isn't. All it means is that you are optimizing your site so that when people are searching people are looking for something, that your site shows up for that. That's it. That's all it is. So back to the landscaping example. So if people are searching landscapers or landscaping services, Princeton, New Jersey, you want to make sure that your site actually says those things, right? So that they can find you. And if you want to show up for other areas in your market, then you change the city to a different city. That's all it is. Here are some great ways to optimize your website. You could create relevant content. Did I mention content again? Yes, I did. Content is king. You need great content to have your site show up in search. You need to make sure it's up to date, that you're talking about the latest and greatest information. That's all that's to it. Really, you need to have create relevant content. Link to other content within your website. So what that means is you have a home. Let's start with the home page. You should do this on every page, but let's start with home page. You have a home page and you decide to promote Mary's landscaping business, right? So you say, welcome, Mary's landscaping business is the top landscaper in central New Jersey. We offer commercial and residential landscaping services for every budget. So where you have the word commercial, if you have a page, which you should, on your site that specifically speaks to commercial landscaping in Princeton, you link the word commercial to that page. Then where you say residential, you link the word residential to the residential landscaping page. You see what I'm saying? So anywhere you mention something where people can find out more information, you can mention a phrase. So it say, please call us today. Link that to your contact page, or some sort of click to call if you have that. We're going to talk about that. Okay, so choose 1 to 3 keyword phrases to optimize for and stick with them. We talked about what I did with my site over 11 years ago. That's what you should do. Come up with whatever works for you. Come up with something that you can show up number 1 for. It's not about showing up for what everybody else is showing up for. Don't compete against the world. Compete to win. Okay? Use a video to show up for elusive keyword phrases. So, one thing that you will see that's a tactic that very few people use today is that if you go and you look up whatever keyword phrase you want to show up for, and then gosh darn it, you see those 3 competitors, top 3 competitors, there they are again. But scroll down. Do you see any videos show up for that search term? If not, you create a video and optimize that video for that search term. That's the easiest way to show up without having to compete and try to fight with them for landing pages. What you do is, if you use YouTube, which I advise if you want to show up in Google, you can use Vimeo, but use YouTube. Create a video, obviously relevant content. If we're back to Mary's landscaping, you do a nice video, who you are, what you do, maybe a couple testimonials from customers on video, and then you name it Landscaping Services, Princeton, New Jersey. That's the name of your video. Then in the description area, which you can put thousands of characters of text, in your description area, you put all your information, who you are, what you do, links to your website, services, contact information, put everything in there. Now you've optimized a page, not on your website, but on YouTube, where other people could find it in YouTube, and which will show up in search results. Huge. Definitely try that out. Mobile responsive site is very important. You want to make sure that your site shows up on a smartphone or a tablet of some kind. Years ago, they thought that people would have 2 websites, one for regular search and one for mobile search. Today, they expect the one site to do everything. So make sure that when you're working with a site designer that it's mobile responsive. We're all catching up with this, self-included. I'm building a new website that's going to be, it's more mobile responsive than I have today. But I understand that we're all catching up to this. So just take some of this advice here from the research that 73% of mobile searches trigger additional action and conversion. It's very important. It's another piece of data Google put out recently that it said 1/3 of people who see something on television grab their smartphones to search it and to convert. I do this all the time. I could be watching a TV program. I could be watching a commercial. My cell phone is always there. So I grab my iPhone and I do a search on there. Okay. And if the site is easy to navigate, I'm there on there a few minutes. Okay. So always consider that. All right. So mobile search is real. It's something we need to all consider. We need to make it part of what we do every day. So most people think that they've hired someone to do their website and they can set it and forget it and the web person does everything, right? Maybe not. Is your webmaster responsible for content? The answer is no, they are not. Your webmaster is a person that deals with technical stuff. Unless they have some sort of writing background, they're a journalist or they're some sort of professional writer, you don't want them in charge of your content. If you want your website to die a slow death, leave the quality of your content to a website developer. Take my advice and partner with the webmaster or your website developer to keep your site fresh. Don't rely on them to do that for you. Partner with them. They are not there for that. Unless you've hired them and you trust that they understand your business and know your business better than you, or have a good handle. Maybe they used to work there, but probably you or someone, one of your employees, are probably better to take care of this aspect. You know what people are looking for. You know what your customers are talking about. You know what's coming down the pike. You need to be responsible for your content. The secret to SEO success is providing high quality content written for your intended audience and with search engines in mind. That is the most important thing. So you need to take charge of your content yourself. You can't leave it to the person in IT. And what I find that a lot of companies that are larger, maybe 100 plus or 50 plus employees or more, they tend to just pass off the website to IT because they're techie. But websites are not just techie, they are supposed to be engaging. And you don't want to leave that to someone who spends most of their time looking at a computer screen every day. So what about website design and usability? That's important, okay? When users were asked to describe why they mistrusted a website, 94% of the comments were directly related to the site's design. I can tell you that I personally make decisions, buying decisions on websites all the time. I do this when I look for doctors. I do this when I look to buy a certain service or purchase a product. If the site is not up to par, up to my standards, I keep it moving, okay? So you want to make sure that your website looks nice. I'm not saying you need to have a website that was designed 3 months ago and it's modern and it's fancy and it looks like some of the sites that we go to today and we're like, oh my gosh, look at this website with the moving backgrounds and everything. I'm not saying that. I'm saying avoid looking like 1999 and at least try to look like 2012 or 2010. At least do that. So, that's all I ask. So a well-built website generates better customer traffic and improved user interface leads to increased conversions. So let's talk about the anatomy of the perfect landing page. I love this graphic. Strong headline, H1 tags, H stands for header. So that's where it says nice looking headline. There you would want something really descriptive. Let's use Mary's Landscaping again. So there you might want to say landscaping services or top landscaping services, Princeton, New Jersey in your headline. Then a second line could be more conversational, let us do your landscaping, whatever. On your H2 tag, number 2, concise subhead, H stands again for header. So H1 and H2 weigh very heavily in search. Google weighs these very heavily. You should have these be really optimized for keyword phrases, okay? You want to have great grammar. 3, we all know that's important. 4, build trust. Testimonials. You want to have people say nice things about you. You don't have to have 100. You can have 2 or 3 or 5. If you have one on your homepage and then link to others elsewhere on your site, that's fantastic. You don't need to get real fancy with that. But it's nice to have that on your homepage to get people comfortable. Okay, they've gone through the trouble of getting testimonials. Then maybe they'll look at your site further. Strong calls to action. Number 5, you see where it says do it now. Tell people to do something. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to buy something from you? Do you want them to call you? Tell them what to do. And number 6, use standout graphics to do it. Buttons. We're going to talk about that later. Easy navigation. Look at the top, number 7. I'm fond of the traditional horizontal navigation. There's some drop-down navigation today that that is usually on the right side and it's vertical. Depending on how it looks, that's okay. But I noticed that people in a mature demographic have trouble with the new kind of what I call truncated navigation menus. So if you're serving a mature audience, I would say over 50, you want to make sure that your navigation is intuitive, okay? Use images and video. Number 8, you can use an image or a slideshow there or video, and you can even take over that whole section right across from left to right with a banner, a rotating banner, which I love, okay? 9, keep important info above the fold. See, above the fold here shows information related to calls to action and everything kind of you really need to know when you first get there. So below that is your scrolling. So that stuff should be secondary information. Everything above the fold, which is an old school newspaper term that we've applied to websites that you view on a normal screen, not on a smartphone screen. You should consider having all that information above the fold. Always test and optimize. That's another thing. We do have a question, and one of the questions was related to whether or not the above the fold area applies to mobile. Well, what I would say with mobile is if you want to have calls to action in mobile, you should have fixed buttons at the very top of the mobile responsive page. So, and those buttons should relate to either calling you and or emailing you. And those stay there for the whole site throughout every click, every page. Okay, that's one of the things we want to do. So thank you for that question. And lastly, you want to always test, 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 test your and optimize your website accordingly. So if you're getting a new website done, usability testing is something we do for enterprise websites. I've done many usability testings for website launches. One of the things you want to do is, you can ask a friend or customers you trust, and you say, "Here's my new website. I'm just about to launch it. I'm going to give you 5 things to do on my website. Find my contact form, look for this service, et cetera, et cetera." If they ask them to tell you how many times it took them to get there, or if they found it at all, and if they find that there's some, it took them more than twice, then maybe you need to kind of make it a little streamline the process a little bit on your site. But testing is always a great way to get things done. Other key points is to keep your website up to date. That's a no-brainer. Appoint a non-IT website manager. We talked about this earlier. Someone who cares about content. Someone who cares about your business and who knows what's going on. So that if that can't be you because you're way too busy, then assign someone else who is connected, who's not a bad writer, who knows what's going on, and who understands what your customers are looking for. That's important. Don't have your web techie person doing all that. They're not there for that. That's not their job. It's not that we're taking something away from them. They don't want to do this. I've heard this from IT people. They don't want to be in charge of the words on your pages. They want to be in charge of how to keep the website going. Okay, and have strong page titles. Page titles should match exactly what the content is. They should be populated with keyword phrases that people are going to be using in search. So use clear calls to action. That's important. I love all these beautiful buttons. I found these buttons by going into Google Images and searching call to action buttons, and there they were. Some of them are on a clear background, which are PNG files. You could use, if I were to take one of these, I could put them on my website right now. I love buttons. So definitely consider having call to action buttons on your site. Make them pop so that the visitor, when they're scanning the page, they can see it. And make sure that the text on them is short and direct, like call now, click here. Link it to the exact page you want them to go to. Don't have them fumbling around and looking elsewhere. If you want them to act now, send them to your conversion page. Here are some great tools. Click to call tools. I love click to call. I have it on my website. In fact, the little image you see at the bottom here is a click to call through eVoice that I use on my website. That's a screenshot of it. And when you click to call on my site, it opens up to that little screen. It pops up and it says, please enter your phone number. You enter your phone number and then you hit call me and then it calls me. So it connects you. And one of the good things about eVoice is it's not just click to call. It also provides you with an auto-attended answering service. So I have one of their professionals read a script that I wrote that introduces the caller to my company and asks them to also, you can press 1 or 2 to reach me. You can have it ring to other lines. You can schedule it to stop answering after a certain time and going to direct to voicemail. It's fantastic. It's $12.99 a month. If you want to go on the cheap side, Google Talk, I used to use it myself. Google Talk of Google Voice, and it's free. And there's a widget, and it allows you to easily to have information that's right there, a widget that you click on, and you can do the same thing that I showed you in eVoice, Google Voice or Google Talk. They interchange the names. Then you also have a popover offer, and that's here. You can see that right here, and it's get 20% off. That's that example. So you ever go to a website and it pops up and it says, hey, give us your email. We'll give you 10%, 20% off. I love those because I love coupons. And if I'm about to buy something, I do it so I can get the immediate discount. You can use it to offer a free download. So say you put together a white paper or you put together a checklist or something that you want your users to find. You can say, please enter your first and last name and your email address, and we'll give you you can download our new checklist or whatever it is. You can use a service like privy.com, which is absolutely 100% free. There is a paid version, but the free version works just fine. I use it. to pop over. It also integrates with other email clients. And you may find that some of your email clients that you're using, email marketing providers, they may have popovers. I know Aweber, I think, has one. But Privy is completely free. But if you have an email client that doesn't offer popovers, this connects to your email client. So they have they've partnered with a bunch of them. So you can have, if when people fill in this form, it could fill in directly to your email marketing list. It's pretty awesome. So give that a try. And then the big image here is buttonoptimizer.com. You can create buttons, no design required. You can just put your phone number, you put your information in there. You can put your phone number, you can put text in there, you can change the colors, you can add little things. You can create a little button like this, and you can download it and put it on your website. Easy peasy. So now we're going to move into the live website review portion. And we're going to start off with looking at 2 local websites. And then we're going to look at one website that from a couple that follows me on Twitter. And I like the way their website looks. And it looks good, but they also have some things that are going wrong. So I want you to see that. And Zipcar's website, which I think is really clean if we have time. So we're going to move on to that portion of so now we're on Google. And I've already put in, we're going to talk about my keywords first. So we talked about how I optimized my site for certain keywords over 10 years ago. So I plugged in Best PR Expert in J. I logged out of Google, as you see, so that I can do kind of a clean search. If I really wanted to do cleaner search, I would go incognito in Chrome, but I didn't want to do that for this one. So what we have here is what showed up for Best PR Expert in J. So you see above the yellow, it says ad. That's a Google AdWords campaign for a firm that I know very well. And they've purchased to show up for either PR Expert or PRNJ. They don't actually have those words in their ad. So I'm thinking this is sort of a default. They're just showing up because they're the most relevant ad. But then look who you have underneath. It's me, PR New Jersey Publicist. See how all my title tag, PR New Jersey Publicist, Public Relations Marketing. I have just loaded up my page title with that information. But most importantly, it matches what's on my page. I have Public Relations NJ Public Relations Expert here. I have New Jersey's Best Public Relations Expert. It's all there. So that's how I optimize my site. And if you notice, this is me again, the second position on here. How wonderful. So when people search that, they're looking for the best, they find me. Because I believe that if you don't believe you're the best, nobody else will. So we're going to scroll down. And here I am again. Look, it's me. I'm showing up for Clarity.fm, which is a small business kind of advice site that you can answer questions and you can get leads out of it if you talk to people. Maybe they hire you. So that's my profile for them. And then, oh my goodness, here I am again on the same search page for my video. And we talked about that, how I created a video last year, an explainer video. That I optimized for affordable PR expert firm, New Jersey. So now I show up for that. So if you click on this, you see that the video is here, and you see that this is my title of the video. I have my keywords in there, and then I really optimized my page description. My video description with I have my link to my site. I have my description in here. I have services here. I have testimonials. I even put testimonials in here. I filled this thing up. So by the time people are looking at this, they've watched my video, now they're reading about me. Hopefully they'll go to my site and reach out to me. That's the whole point of that. So that's that. So now we're going to move on to actually looking at some websites for some local business owners in Mercer County. And we have Organize and Maintain, owned by John O'Dallin. What I like about this site is that it's clean and it looks good. One of the things that I noticed about this site is that there is a good information about the business. He's promoting a new book that he has out, which I think is fantastic. He's using the book cover to promote it, which I think is great. One of the things that people do with promoting books is they also sell them on here. So eventually, when he's making that available, okay. So it also has. I've looked at the page title. So the page title here, Save Time and Money by Organizing. So you see where it says save time and money by organizing. That's a very general page title. And if you may remember seeing mine, I had all these like keywords in there. So you might want to consider like, having professional organizer in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, or Princeton, New Jersey, whatever. You can have all those in there actually, and that would be perfectly fine. Also, what I wanted to point out is that you have a clean navigation here, but the navigation allows you to see so many things here that I think these could be consolidated. I think that they could be more general, just like everybody else, instead of who, what, when, where, and why, and how, which is more of a style of putting together some content. I would have about us, I would have our services, things that people are used to seeing, because that way you're not deviating from the norm. We talked about that earlier. Okay, so I would do that. I would consolidate these and make them more streamlined. Also, testimonials. I'd like to see testimonials as one of your top level navigation. People really are swayed by testimonials. In fact, every time I search for something, I always look for testimonials to make sure that whatever it is I'm trying to buy is being signed off on by other people. I don't want to be the guinea pig. So I actually always read testimonials. So I would have those there. And also, I think for the home page, I'm interested in your work. So let's show me some of those great gallery photos that you have all the way hidden down over here. Let's have some of these before and after photos on your home page so that people could see what you do and they can see your results, because that's what people care about, right? So you want to have that. You also have these third-party logos, which I think would be great if they linked actually to the actual pages. So these are great. You have them linking to your actual page that you have your profile on for Home Advisor. So that's perfect. So you always want to have that, and so that way you're not sending them to generic sites. Okay. So let's also take a look at your social media icons. So the social media icons also should all be things that you actually are working on. So that's great. So that's really kind of the inside scoop on this website, and I really like that there's a lot of information here. I just think it could be streamlined in a way that it makes more sense. And videos and things like that could be under one media button. I think this should be a top level navigation thing. I really do. So let's do that. But all of these should definitely link to your own profile pages. And of course, having links to other sites is good. And then having those sites link back to yours, to your own profile, is even better. So that's fantastic. So let's move on to looking at the metadata. So metadata is good. You want to have a lot of information in here. You want to make sure that it's different on every page. You don't want to have these pages all say the same thing. So you notice if I go here, the page title is the same. These page titles need to be updated so that they could be different for everyone. So that's a good thing. So that's a good piece of advice that you can take with you for a long time on anybody's website. So you want to make sure that you have very unique page titles that match your content, because what happens is that Google determines relevance based on the actual content you have on your site. So you can put 6,000 things in your metadata, but if none of it is on your website, no one's going to see anything. And you also want to have a call to action, something that says, contact us today. You want to have a call to action on your home page that states that. So I would have here next to the photos of my work in the slideshow, I would have here an image of a button that says, schedule your first free consultation now, or something like that. So that's a good thing to have on there. So we're going to move on to our next website review, which is for Capital Corn. Now, Capital Corn is a local business in Ewing, New Jersey, and I've tasted this corn. It's quite delish. She has a storefront, and she also has an e-commerce site, which is this Capital Corn website here. So one of the things you notice right away is that she has a very large logo in the center of the page, which is great. You can see where you are. There's a good call, there's good, not call to action, but there's a good information that you can find where they're located and the hours of operation. One of the things it's missing is a phone number, because maybe someone wants to call to make a special order to see if you have a certain flavor. So you want to have that. Then you also have a click more here. So in order for me to find out what the click more is, I actually have to scroll down, and the more is actually in the navigation. The click more probably should be some sort of button, an actual call to action button. I would actually take this particular logo and make it a heck of a lot smaller and move it here. Now, the good news is this site is built in Wix. It's a Wix website. Wix is a fantastic tool. I build sites in Wix. I just finished one, and I really enjoy the fact that you can pretty much move things around wherever you want. This is definitely an older Wix template, and what I would do is I would choose a new e-commerce template in Wix and make sure that my logo was in the far corner up here, and leave this real estate up here, valuable real estate for calls to action. Order now, call us today, here's our address. I would have that all up here. These 3 identical photos are wasting valuable real estate on your website. So I would get rid of these. And in addition to not really wanting to have them there, when they're larger, they're not very clear. So you want to make sure that you also have clear photos. We're going to take a look at your slides here. The slideshow on the Capital Corn website has very blurry images. And when it comes to food, people eat with their eyes. So you want to hire a professional photographer who specializes in shooting food. That's very important, because you don't want you don't want to look like you took it yourself. And I will say that, with all due respect, these look like these were taken by someone at the store, and because even the staging is not proper. Here's in the background, looks like a printout of an email and a post-it note. You don't want to have that in your photos for food. You want to look at, why is there papers behind a food product? You want to have a clean white background, well lit, so that people can just focus on how delicious that popcorn looks. And also, the pictures are so dark that some of your text here is missing. But another thing I want people to notice, and everybody can learn from this, is that when you're doing a slideshow, you need to make sure that you're labeling the slide image so that it comes up correctly. Here, we see that we're not seeing a slideshow image label here. We're seeing the name of the image. So this is how they save the picture. Well, if you go back, you see that here, the image has a title. So it's inconsistent. So that needs to be consistent. That's something that, we all can learn from. So if you scroll down, there's a lot of calls to action down here. And those I would move up to the top for sure. I would also remove the AOL email address here and use a TrentonPopcorn.com email address, because that's the email address of the site. There's some good Twitter interaction going on, and it's fairly recent, within the last week, which I think is great. So much so that probably you should have a widget somewhere on your site that displays your current, because I noticed that you have promotions and things on there. You probably should have a Twitter widget on your home page. Okay, so that would be great. So everything above the fold here is not doing what you would want people to do. It's not getting them to do something. You're telling people to click more, but you can't see it. You have to scroll down. And I'm looking on a fairly I'm looking on a MacBook Air. This is how I do all of my business. But most times you can at least find, that the phone number's up here. It's something that I could do before I need to scroll down. So you want to consider that. Also, your Facebook icon on this particular site, it actually leads to a broken link. So you want to make sure that your Facebook icon is actually available to the current page. So I think you've changed the Capital Corn has actually changed its Facebook link and forgot to update it on the website. So, and a few other things. When you go to gift baskets, I'm a bit of a stickler for seeing what I'm expecting. So if I go to gift baskets, I need a gift basket, right? But when you look at the products here, which are perfectly fine, there's no basket. I'm seeing things in a tray. I'm seeing things in bags. I'm seeing things in little tubs. Where's the basket? If you go on to proflowers.com, which sells baskets, or giftbaskets.com, if you plug in baskets, you typically see a basket. So you want to make sure you're calling things what they are, and that when the people get there, you're showing them what they expect to see. So this should have been in a basket that was nice and wrapped, or not even wrapped, just in a basket with well lit. You can't see anything here. It doesn't look appetizing. You can't see what this is here. So the pictures, again, must be done by a professional food photographer. It's extremely important, is to have that. So I think I've pretty much gone over this. Key thing for this particular site would be to update the site, move to a different Wix template, and that's more modern and that is focused on e-commerce. And I think that you'd be okay. And just get those pictures fixed. That's another thing that I would definitely focus on first. So now we're going to move to another site that I like. These people follow me on Twitter. They're one of my many 4,000 something Twitter followers. And there is no question that this is engaging. You get to this site, you see they have a good picture, well-lit, professional picture. Michelle and Bill are selling multi-level marketing packages. I'm not a fan of it, but I do like their website, and I wanted to show you an example of a nice-looking website that also does bad things. So what do we see here? We talked about calls to action. Well, look, get a load of this. This get free access today. Hello, they're telling you what you want them, what exactly what they want us to do. They're offering a 7-figure Facebook blueprint. It's actually an ebook. They're actually probably should say that. But when you click on download, which is huge, which is compelling. I mean, who wouldn't want to press on this download button? You get a popover. My favorite thing. And it's very easy. You enter your name and email, and then you're in. Okay? They have 2 ways to get out the X. And here, notice that they, although they're offering an ebook, they have a beautifully designed graphic that looks like a book, so it's more compelling. They do a great job. I really like it. I also like these here. I think there's way too many pictures of them, by the way, but I like the concept of having other ways to click through to their site that are not just drop downs, because you can also do that here, but I like these a lot. I like their about. I think this is really cool. When you click on about, and I can go further and look at her bio, and I can look at his bio, but all of their social media is here. I think that's really cool. And then they have some challenges here with their blog. So they're displaying their blog on the landing page, but there's some spacing issues. So that I'm troubled with. There's a few spacing issues on this site. So this could be displayed better and neater. But I like the idea that they're throwing the blog posts on the home page. But this is where it goes a little bit wrong for me. Instead of, I like calls to action, but then it gets a little crazy. It's like, what is this? Am I going to be going to a different website? This looks like them, so I guess that's them. Then this one, I don't know what that is. What's that? So it gets a little wacky. So I think that's too much. And you got a WordPress makeover. So what does that have to do with the multi-level marketing? So it's kind of inconsistent when it comes to that stuff. So one of the things I also wanted to show you was their drop-down menu has acronyms. Avoid acronyms. I'm new to this type of stuff, this multi-level marketing. I'm not interested in it, but I have no idea what these acronyms are. So these are things that you want to make sure you don't do on your site. And also their testimonials page are videos, which I love, but it's not very diverse. It's all men, right? So where's the diversity? If you have diversity, show it in your testimonials. That's always great. If you want everybody's money, then make sure you get it. That's what I always tell people. So you want to make sure that you have that in place and that you can do that. And then there's their contact form that you can click on their contact. They offer, we are hiring. Then the contact takes you away from their site. It looks like it's into a CRM of some kind, which is fine, a customer relationship management tool. But the graphic here is different. It's the logo is different. The colors are different. It looks like I'm on a completely different website. So if you're going to have something like that, make sure that the colors and everything are streamlined so it just feels like you're getting the same user experience. Okay. So this is a lot of this is what a lot of websites look like today. But call to action is very clear, and that's what wins me over on this site. So I wanted you to take a look at Squarespace, and I wanted to talk about this new type of navigation. Um, the Squarespace website, of course, is incredibly engaging. They have a video background, which is like, you know, amazing. Of course, there are call to actions on the left. Set your website apart. Get started. They try to get you going quickly, and of course, you can navigate here and see things. Everything is on the home page. I mean, this is one of those websites where, you don't really have to go anywhere. Everything kind of just displays, and this is what they do. This is what Squarespace does. Am I fond of it? Not as much, but I love it for certain types of businesses. If you're a blogger, or you notice this kind of artsy types, photographers, artists, there's restaurants. These are great. If you have a business, especially with that kind of reach different demographics, it may be a little confusing to use a Squarespace type style, but it is really snazzy, right? But what I wanted to show you was the truncated menu. So what they've done is they have a menu here, sort of, but this is their main menu. And when you open it, it slides out. So, and it stays there. So if I scroll down and if I go to weddings, look, the menu stays there. I don't mind this as much because it's easy to navigate. It's clear what I'm looking at. Look, I can get to pricing, and then if I need it again, I can click on it, and there it is again. There's no footer really on this site. The footer information that would normally be at the very bottom, the footer, is in this navigation panel, the right side navigation panel. So if you're interested in that type of thing, and you think that your customers or your visitors won't be confused, by all means have this. But I like that it's fixed and it stays there. Once I click, it stays there. I really like that. This type of vertical. I still prefer the horizontal, normal navigation from left to right. But if you're going to do vertical, I think the style is great. Another site that offers a really clear call to action is Square.com, SquareUp.com. This is the mobile payment service. And they understand their customer. You can tell because their customer comes to their site knowing what they want. They want a Square. They want to be able to charge people by using their phones. Okay, it looks like now you can wave. You don't need to put the little device in, so you can wave the phone, but that's besides the point. Start selling today. Wow, what a concept. They know that's what their customer wants. They want to start selling today. So they put a nice size button here. Take care of your business anywhere with Square. Get started. Boom. Takes you to a sign up page, and they tell you, signing up is fast and free. They put you all at ease. Here, all you need is to just give us the basics. There's no credit check. Get your free magstripe reader. One and done. Love that. They know their customer. They understand what their customers are looking for. And I wanted to also share with you the Zipcar website. The Zipcar website is a nice, clean website. It offers what I say is a kind of a whimsical search experience. And what I mean by whimsical is that because there's an illustration here, although they need to update it from winter to spring, I like this here. It's very clean and simple. Easy join now button. There's more calls as in check out our blog. Where can I drive? Just really just user friendly. And of course, anybody or everybody, if you're a business and if you're universities, they make it real easy and simple. Um, it's one of those sites that you just keep scrolling down and you keep seeing things. What I like about it is it's just very clean. There's not a lot of text. Look, we're all trying to get there. I'm in the middle of redesigning my website to look more like this. Um, I like this particular type of website because it speaks to me and it's very consumer and it leaves little to your imagination. I mean, to have how it works in 4 steps, that's what everybody's rushing and they're busy. And here, 1 join, 2 reserve, 3 tap, 4 drive. Boom, sounds simple. Where can I sign up? That's what they want. That's the reaction they want. How simple? Where can I sign up? So that's what I really like about this site. Then of course you can enter your zip code or city here, and you can see where you can pick up a Zipcar. I mean, they make it so simple. Look at this. If you're looking for rates and plans, here's your information. It's right here. If you want more, you can click and there's more. You can get it geo specific so that you know exactly what you're getting into. Really simple. And as you click through the site, there's just a little bit more navigation here to keep everything in, but it's very simple. That's what I like. Note that they have a sign me up. 1 week, low week there is sign me up. It's a really nice consumer website. And wow, look at this blog. The blog is pretty nice as well. It's a really nice blog. So you can, you take a look at that and you see what they're doing, and it's organized well. It's very visually compelling. They do a good job. So if you want to, you don't have to do everything like them, but I say if you take 1 or 2 tips from them, you won't be doing so bad. You won't be doing so bad. So let's go back to our presentation, as I want to show you a couple of more things beyond this particular slide. So there's a couple of things I want you to remember. Use page titles to optimize for search. That's extremely important. Okay? You want to make sure that those page titles match the text on your page. You want to make sure those page titles are specific to what you feel people are searching in Google or Bing. Okay? Make sure your page description matches your actual content. Wow, what a concept. So your page description shouldn't be the same across all of the pages of your website. When you look at your page description, and this is in your meta description, okay? You want it to say very specific things. And you want it to, and those things also need to be on the page. You just can't put it in description. It needs to also be on your landing page in text. Very important. Link content to other content within your website. So we talked about Mary's Landscaping and how she has commercial and residential, and that if she has a landing page for residential, that words should link back. That's exactly what we mean. Linking content also, you can use that with buttons. So if you have a join now button that links to another page of your site, you're linking to other pages on your site using buttons. That's perfectly fine. Okay. Don't link to social media if you're not engaging. That's very important. You need to make sure that if you're updating, that your links work, that when you're clicking on the link, when people get there, that there's not 0 posts and 0 followers. One of the things you need to remember is that it's not about having the social icon on your site. It's about the engagement. And people expect to see engagement. If they don't see engagement, they'll never go back. They won't follow you. They won't like your page, whatever it is they need to do. So make sure that if you're linking to social, that there's something there. If there's nothing there, then please remove it immediately. Thank you. Here's tips for hiring a website pro. Now, I actually counsel clients for the Small Business Development Center at the College of New Jersey, and I get to hear a lot of different things that people hire. They hire web professionals that either hold their websites hostage, or they work with a third party like a big company that offers, hey, we'll give you a free website. Well, what they fail to tell you with that is that they'll give you the free website and they'll keep it up as long as you pay them whatever it is a month. And they can really much hold you over a barrel and say, well, pay us $200 a month and you can have your website. Whereas you can have your own website through a CMS tool, which the second item is gain access to update your site through a CMS. You can use a Wix or WordPress or Weebly or Squarespace or Yola. You can use any of those and have your own access to your website and own the content that's there. But just beware that when people tell you that they're going to do a website for you for free, and then they start sending you bills, just understand that, nothing is really for free, and that if they've written all of your content for you, that they may own the content and that you can't take it away from them. Okay? So you want to gain access to your site through a CMS. If you use WordPress, that's fine. But if you're going to use WordPress, have your developer set up your site under your own hosting account and with automatic backup. Okay, that's important for WordPress because if something terrible happens to your site, you need to be able to bring it back to an older version of your website that was saved. So make sure you do that. So have the developer set up your site under your own hosting account. You can use anybody, GoDaddy, HostGator, Bluehost. you should only pay like $100 a year. Most people who own a small business don't need an enterprise level account, a hosting account that, with, 600 terabytes of space. You don't need that. You can easily have your site for $100 a year, not a month, a year. So make sure you do that. Also, provide the developer the content that you want, the suggested title tags that you want, and the page descriptions that you like. Okay? These are all things that you know that the web developer will not know. You are the best person to do this for your business, by far. And if you need to assign it to someone else on your team, then you can do that. But provide them with what you want. The reason why you'll see the same title tags across the website is because the person who owns the site didn't tell the web developer what they wanted on those pages, or they didn't know any better if they did it themselves. You need to provide this content. It needs to be custom and specific to the content actually on your pages. And it needs to be done by somebody who understands and cares about your business. Period. Done. Do not pay for a website monthly maintenance unless you plan to make regular updates. I tell people this: if you just want to feel secure and have someone looking at your site every day, you could pay someone, but I'm going to tell you that most people who accept these fees do not look at your website every day. That's number one. Number two is that you want to make updates periodically. Just make an arrangement and just say, you know what, when I'm ready, can I reach out to you to make some updates, and then just let me know what your fee is. What will you charge me? Oh, okay, it's $20 an hour, $30 an hour, $40 an hour. I'll make up to an hour's worth of text changes for $100. Whatever it is, figure out what that is ahead of time, and then you just call on that person when you need them. Don't pay money unnecessarily unless you really plan to make updates weekly or monthly. Just don't throw your money out for nothing. I personally do not accept any sort of work like that from my clients as far as on a regular basis. I just don't believe that. I'm not going to be looking at your site every day, so why should I take your money? But you should be looking at your own site at least a couple times a week to make sure it's still there and that it still appears the way it should be. You don't need to pay someone for that, because I guarantee you they won't do it. It's just not going to happen. So if you plan to be like super content king or queen, and you think you're going to be posting something every week or a couple times a week or a couple times a month, then yes, have someone on your team that you pay, whether it's outside your company or within your company, to make these changes. If not, have a relationship with someone, your web developer, that you say that you can call up and say, let me do this for me, and as needed. So a simple strategy is always keep your website relevant with simple content that your intended audience can find. Pure and simple. Here are some free DIY sources. Before we go, I wanted to show you these. Of course, we talked about YouTube, using YouTube to strategize around keywords, phrases, keyword phrases, not just keywords, keyword phrases. You can use Vimeo, but if you're really trying to use Google gives more weight to YouTube. So YouTube. Google Keyword Planner. Plug in Keyword Planner into Google. You'll get there. Use it to find what is searched most and optimize for it. Website analytics. Depending on where your website is built, some website CMS tools, content management systems have analytics built in. Analytics shows you how people find things. They show you the keywords they're using, how they searched it, where they're from. Look at that information. Just don't know that it's there. Actually use it and understand it and optimize around it. Okay, Google, of course, has great analytics, but if you have other tools that within the the content management system you use those tools, but look at everything and pay attention to trends. It's very important. If you don't understand that, you can always look it up a video on analytics, and you'll find webinars and things like that that'll be very helpful. Use LinkedIn. Publish posts on LinkedIn. I love published posts. I do it as much as I can. I want to do it more. But if you're already writing blog posts, repost them to LinkedIn. That'll give you links back to your site, potentially people coming from LinkedIn to your site. Social media widgets. You want to have social media widgets that show that you're engaging, you're having a good time on Twitter and sharing information. It also keeps your pages look up to date. Create calls to action. We talked about that. Privy.com and eVoice and Button Optimizer are great. There are many others. AddThis.com has great ways for calls to action. look into calls to action, add them to your site. If any of this is a struggle for you, or if you think you just need a little bit of more guidance, please reach out to the Small Business Development Center at the College of New Jersey. We are here to help Mercer County businesses, okay, with no cost needs assessments and marketing assessments. You can all get it at SBDC in J. And if you happen to be out in New Jersey and outside of the Mercer County area, you can go to njsbdc.com to find the nearest center that you can take advantage of. Again, contact us at sbdcnj.com. Here's our email and our address. Please use it. Please definitely take advantage if you haven't already. I really appreciate everybody joining me today. And I don't have any questions that have come in through the panel. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. And I'm hoping that everyone takes some of this information to heart and that you grow your business through your website and through your search results that bring you the opportunities that you're looking for. And I'll leave you with this last message, is that if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. Think about that, and I hope to see you all next time on my next webinar. Please take advantage of these webinars as they are available to you through the Small Business Development Center at the College of New Jersey. Thank you so much, and have a great day.